All right, let's get right into it. We're going to walk through a really powerful story today, a first-person account of battling a crippling fear, one that literally keeps you from getting off the ground. It's all about one person's journey from being completely trapped by anxiety to, well, finally flying free.
So it all starts here. Just try to imagine that for a second. It's not just being a little nervous to fly. It's being physically unable to even think about booking a ticket without setting off a full-blown panic attack. For 2 straight years, this was Ian's reality. His whole world just shrank, all because of this one fear that had taken over.
And, this wasn't something that just popped up out of nowhere. This was a long, slow burn, an 8-year struggle. It started as this general anxiety that just got worse and worse until it completely grounded him. And it's not like he wasn't trying to get help. He did cognitive behavioral therapy, which works for a lot of people. But for him, nothing. Which must have just made him feel even more hopeless.
But you know how these stories go. When you feel the most stuck, that's often when a turning point appears. For Ian, it wasn't some big dramatic moment. Nope, it was something way simpler. It was just a phone call.
This right here, this really nails the internal conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you have Ian's mind, totally skeptical, scared, thinking, I've never done anything like this before. And on the other side, you've got Daniel on the phone, who was just calm. He was knowledgeable, and he could lay out every single step of the process. It's that classic tug-of-war between fear and logic.
And this is how logic started to get the upper hand. See, Daniel didn't just make a bunch of promises like, oh, don't worry, it'll be fine. He actually dismantled the skepticism piece by piece, just by explaining things. By walking through the what, the how, and the why, he started replacing that fear with understanding. And that's how you start to build trust.
Okay, so he's got this logical reassurance, but the biggest fight was still coming. The real battle wasn't going to be in the therapist's office. It was going to be with himself, in his own head, right before his first session.
It's a crazy thing to think about, right? Your conscious self, you, want to heal. But that anxious part of your brain, it sees change as a threat, and it will do literally anything it can to keep things the same, even if the same is miserable. It basically launches an all-out campaign to make you retreat.
And it's amazing how strategic that little voice is. It's like a sales pitch. First, it just plants the seed. Don't do it. Simple. Then, it hits you with your biggest fear. This is a waste of time. It's not going to work anyway. And finally, it offers you that sweet, easy way out. Just go home. It's safe at home.
And everything, I mean everything, comes down to this single moment. Hearing all that noise from the fear in your head and making the choice to just do it anyway. That short sentence, but I did. That's a huge act of courage. That's the moment he decided to bet on himself.
So, that one brave decision is what kicked off the real work. This wasn't about just gritting your teeth and pushing through anymore. This was about starting the actual technical process of rewiring how the brain responds to these triggers. And the shift was almost immediate. He said the first session was great, and he could actually feel a difference the very next day. But, change can be weird. As his mind was adapting to this new message of being calm, new questions and concerns would pop up. And that's where the support system was so critical. The follow-up calls, the texts with Daniel, that provided that constant reassurance as he navigated this new territory.
I love this way of picturing it. For years, his brain was running on these chaotic, tangled-up loops of anxiety. The whole process was like carefully untangling all those messy wires and replacing them with these clean, steady new pathways. It's literally about building a new default setting in your brain.
So the big question is, did it stick? Did all this work actually pay off in the real world? Well, the proof isn't just a feeling. It's something you can actually count.
And here it is. This is the result. After his first flight in 2 years, the panic attacks didn't just get a little better. They stopped. Gone. Completely. You can feel the shock and the relief in that sentence. Imagine something that has tormented you for years just vanishing.
12. This number is everything. It's the proof that the change was not a fluke. It was real and it was repeatable. This was his new reality.
This chart just puts it all into perspective. I mean, look at this. In the 24 months before he started, he took exactly 0 flights. In the 2 months right after, he took 12. That's not just progress, that's a complete transformation. From totally grounded to flying pretty much whenever he wanted.
So what's the big takeaway from Ian's story? Well, it's more than just a cool anecdote. It's really a message of hope for anyone else out there who's stuck in that same spot.
This whole experience is like a light at the end of the tunnel,
especially for people who feel like they've tried every single thing and have just given up. For anyone who went through the standard treatments and felt like a failure because it didn't work for them, this story is saying, hey, you are not out of options.
And really, it all boils down to this one simple but incredibly hard thing to do. It's the advice he had to give himself in that critical moment, and it's the advice he's passing on now. It's an invitation to take a chance, even when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to run away.
At the end of the day, this whole story is about the power of taking that first step, just like Ian did with one phone call. And it just goes to show what can happen when you decide to trust a new process, and more importantly, trust that you can change.